where I talk about entrepreneurship, and this is Entrepreneurship Diary. It's around noon. It's around 12 actually in the at night, and it's been a while since I last went online. Since I last went live, sorry. And I thought of going live tonight to talk. Okay, it's one of those segments where I call it Entrepreneur's Diaries, and I wanted to talk about entrepreneurship. I'm more of a business owner actually than an entrepreneur because my business is so dependent on me in this way. In as much as it can function without in my absentia, it cannot function without me funding it. Like I'm the sole owner, so I completely fund it 100%. So without my funding, then I do not have a business. And to be honest, it's been God all through. We were partnered back in 2020, Corona time, and back in May 2021, I went solo, like we parted ways. And since then, there is a lot of learned my way. It's been like 5 years since, 4 years, sorry, since I went solo. And to be honest, there's a lot of things I've learned along the way. And one of them, the major thing that has kept me going, is the fact that I trust in God, and I know that without God, I'm nothing. And without God, I can't do much. But with God, everything is possible. For me, that's what I've believed in. And that has been like my biggest motivation, knowing that no matter how tired I feel, no matter how much I want to give up, there's a bigger being. There's somebody else holding my hand and telling me, you know what, my daughter, you can do it. And yeah, that has been like my biggest motivation. And there are a couple of things that I've learned and I've come into terms with, like the fact that most of my friends will not support me, most of my family members will not support me, which is okay. Most of the people I know will not even recommend me anywhere, and most of your clients will be strangers. Most of the people referring you will be strangers, which is a fact that I came to accept a long time ago. And sometimes when you feel like you want to start something, and like your parents, in case you still have parents, do not like feel seem to be supporting you, it's not like they don't believe in you. In most cases, it's because they are afraid that you will go out there in this messy world and the world will be tough on you. So they're always looking up to you, like, you know how much an egg feels fragile, and the moment like you release it, you like put more force, like it will break. I want to believe that's how our parents sees us, like we are these fragile, these precious things that they need to keep holding and protecting, and like they're afraid of letting us go because they know how harsh the world is and how merciless the world could be. I don't know which word to use, but yeah, in case you feel like your parents are not supporting you, just know that they are rooting for you behind the curtains, only that they're scared that you might go out there and find it tough. Another lesson that I've learned along the way is that you'll have to figure out most of these things on your own, because like even those who know and even those who have gone ahead of you cannot tell you everything. And sometimes, even if they know the thing, they might not as they might not like be open to show you everything. You'll have to figure out most of these things on your own, and that is why there are things like YouTube, Google, ChatGPT, and all those things. Like, you can always Google, you can always learn about them. Like, to be honest, one thing I've really struggled with is like charging people. Like, I've had a very difficult time charging people because, one, I either feel like if I charge them too much, they will not give me the business, and I'm also worried that if I charge them too little, they might as well not give me the business, because there's somebody who will give you the business because of the amount of money you're charging. Like, they will look at it this way: if you're charging too little, then your service might not be at par with the expectation, might not be that quality. When somebody else is looking in this angle, why go for your product that is so expensive, while I know somebody who can do better? Like, at some point you'll have to stop worrying about what everybody else thinks and know that you cannot please everybody. Like in business, unless you're selling ice cream where everyone loves ice cream, then you cannot please everyone, because even with the ice cream business, you might be selling strawberry while some want vanilla, so you might not please everyone. As long as you're alive, you might never please everyone. So just go out with the mindset that not everyone will be your supporter, not everyone will be your client, not everybody will root for you, but you'll have to be your biggest supporter, because that's the only way you go about this entrepreneurship journey. And like I said, I'm more of a business owner, so I keep learning daily, I keep making mistakes. Like, recently I've been undergoing some crisis. In as much as my last video was about me going on a trip, I was still undergoing some crisis. So in as much as I was on a trip, I was still on my call, like, was this thing done, was this thing. So in short, what I'm saying is, most of the nights are like sleepless, because you do not know what will work and what will not work. You don't know the next call what is going to be about. They might call you to tell you that they either don't want your services anymore, or they need something, or some supplies are not enough, or some finances are not enough, some finances are delayed and all that. So yeah, it is hard out there. And most of the time, where you are a starter, you will have some sleepless nights, or some worry nights, and some worry days, and it's part of life. You'll just have to know how to manage the pressure and the stress. At first, it used to be so hard on me. I didn't know how to handle the pressure. I didn't know how to handle most of the things, but of late, I would say I've been more calmer while handling stress and pressure than I did back then. Most of the times, and the times you'll doubt yourself so much, like, you'll doubt whether you can face that challenge you're going up about. You will like doubt yourself whether you're good enough to even start these things and run it. But trust me, it's always worth it. Please start it, and please run with it, because nothing will be offered to you in your comfort. So always go out for it. I think the biggest challenge when it comes to business is things to do with financing, because financing is like everything. Okay, they say that you're not in business until you have your first client, which is true, and which is the main thing. Finding clients and That's where we talk about marketing, but nobody tells us about how expensive marketing is. To be honest, marketing is one of the most expensive parts. It can be financially, it can be physically, that is emotionally, because that is another aspect that we really like need to invest in our mental health as a business person. And to be honest, I don't know how many times I just stayed in the house and like cried myself to sleep. And the next morning I woke up like afresh and I was ready to go face that client. So like marketing aspect is quite tough, which like the point here was about finances. Like finances is not a small task, because sometimes you might think of getting a loan to start a business, which is not like an easy decision. It is not, because if you decided to take a loan to finance that business, it means like that you will have to keep borrowing to like sustain the business, or you'll have to like work extra hard to like balance out your books, which means that in the better part of your first months, first year, you might not making much out of that business, and which can be so tiring. Imagine working on something and like you don't see the fruits of your labor at the end of the day, which is how I survived. Because to be honest, I started with a loan, but my loan was from my uncle's, that is my mom's brother, and a little bit of my savings. And for the first couple of years, like I think 2 3, to be honest, last year and this year is the year that I feel a bit more stable, although I still have some debts to pay. But in the first 2 3 years were like, it was a lot. It was a lot. Like I had to keep borrowing to like maintain this job until my financial advisor advised me that I cannot borrow to pay recurring debts like salaries, like supplies. Okay, of course, for supplies, sometimes you'll have to borrow to get them, and especially if it's a big supply. But things like salaries that comes every month, for example, I mean cleaning, things like detergents, I don't need to borrow for that. I need to know that in as much as I'm paying other bills, I need to have money for the supplies. When it comes to salaries, I need to reason out with my people and tell them, you see, all those kind of things. But earlier on, I used to like borrow to pay, and you can already imagine the cycle. It was tiresome to a point that I felt like I need to stop all these things and like seek for unemployment. Like it was hard, and that is actually one of the biggest lesson, and I'm glad to have learned it. Like you cannot keep borrowing money to like fund your recurring expenses. It's like you're employed, but you're borrowing money to pay your rent. Then why are you working from to begin with? Anyway, it's hard. Another point that has really challenged me is about employment. When I talked about being a business owner, other than being an entrepreneur, I think this part has been one of the challenging things, like employing people and dealing with employees, like the supervision, the managerial part. All that has been tough for me. Like I know personally I'm a good marketer, but I'm not the best manager. I'm not the best supervisor, sorry, because One, I'm so sympathetic with people, which are to the point that I almost lost business because I've sympathized with people so much. And well, my dad told me that I can always source out a good supervisor, which is okay. But without the money, sometimes it's tough. Like, if you're in Kenya right now, you know how tough the economy is. I know some people are doing good, but most of the people are those who are still struggling to like make ends meet. And it's tough out there. So I think one of the reasons as to why people with money have their businesses peak better than the rest of us is because they have enough resources to like know their weaknesses and their strengths and do something about their weaknesses. Like in my case, I know I'm a better marketer, but I'm not a good supervisor. So if I had enough money, of course, I'll have someone do the supervised work and the managerial work. I could also have someone doing the bookkeeping and all that, which is so easier. But for me, I'm blessed enough to have a finance person who like advises me, and we've talked a way of payment. Like I don't have to pay the person immediately after the service. Like we have a plan. So I'm glad and I'm happy about that. Another thing I learned earlier on, I think I've mentioned it, is that your friends will not support you, your family might not even refer you and all that. I think I talked about that. I'm looking here because I had written some things, and I think these are most of the things that I've talked about: the lonely night, the self-doubts, you'll have to figure out things on your own. I don't know how much is how much. How far is how what am I saying? I don't know how far is too far when it comes to employees, and how little is too little when it comes to employees. Like what I mean by this is I don't know how close to be with these people and still have their respect. And I don't know how far to be with these people and still supervise that work. Ish, it is tough. Balancing between the supervision and the respect, it is hard. The other thing is your friends will not support you. I've talked about it. Also about loans and finances. And I think to end this video, I'll end it with, when it comes to business, you'll have to know, you'll have to figure out a balance where you'll have to like know that this is business and okay, what am I saying? You have to find a balance between friendship, business, and have everyone in different, okay, what am I saying? Like your relationships, you need to like figure out how to live by. And even before ending it, I think the most important lesson I have learned about money is having a salary. I still struggle to date with paying myself because most of the time I find myself like paying everything else. The bills are out, the bills are paid, everything else is paid, but I'm not paid myself. I really struggle with that till now, and yeah, that is one of the biggest thing you'll have to learn earlier on before the money comes in, because if you don't pay yourself, you'll have to use the company's money, and that is one of the bigger contributor of you having the cycle of get paid, pay debts, get paid, pay bills, get paid. You see the cycle of being in debt, the cycle of not having enough to survive. Like, if I'm not paid this month, then I don't have enough to pay my employees. If I'm not paid this month, then I don't know what I'll do for the next few days until I'm paid. If the money is delayed, then how will I survive? And I think that is the biggest challenge I have so far till to date. And I am trying my best to like break this challenge, break this cycle, and be better and do better. I think there's a lot we could talk about, but the video is quite long as it is. It's already 21 minutes. But before I go, please have your books ready. Please keep your records, because for the first loan, it was not much actually. It was around 50,000. And with that loan, I got it because of the books I kept. That is from the receipt books, from the contracts, from the invoices, the trackings, and all that. That is how I got my first loan from the bank. And it's actually bank, not KCB Cooperative Bank here in Kenya. So please keep your books of accounts and keep them recorded. That's the only way you'll know where you're going, whether you're running a business that is failing, or whether you are running a business that has a future. That's the only way you can tell, even when you have to even when you want to grow the business and open other branches and all that. So this was Kara on the Move, and it was also okay. This was Entrepreneur's Diary segment, and yep, from me, it's a wrap, and a good night. Do better, be yourself, don't compare. The world is beautiful with you in it, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. At the end of the day, you only have one life to live, so live better and do your best. Till next time, bye. Mwah.